Hello, everybody. Thanks for hopping on the local SEO formula for moving companies. This is our October webinar. I know it's been a while. I'm sorry. It's been really crazy for me this summer. Business has been good. I've been helping a lot of clients, which I absolutely enjoy. And it's podcast is going well. I am looking for different guests. So if you're interested, let me know. Happy to interview any moving company. Just get some insight for others to learn as well. So just hit me up if you're interested in being on the podcast. I just had Zane Poncetti, who is in Dallas, who owns Wildcat Movers. And then I also had a Facebook ad, and I forget his name. Oh no, but if you go to our website or go to YouTube channel, you'll find him there. But anyway, without ado, this is kind of a deep dive into local SEO strategies for moving companies. And first, I'm going to just get right down to it. I'm not going to mess around with this. This is the current local SEO landscaping and what it looks like. I'm sorry, the landscape, understanding what it looks like right now in 2024, some important marketing trends that we should start seeing in 2025. Another is just kind of the fundamentals, keyword research. I'll get in a little bit about Google Business Profile, which I did do a Google Business Profile, a webinar a while back. So on Zoom, I should be able to throw this on there. I'm sorry, on the YouTube channel. Hopefully I have a link to it here. On page SEO strategies, which is really important. Some citations, local citations. There's some confusing bits about citations, about how many do you need, what kind of citations, how important is it to have like specific addresses. We'll get into that. Online reviews are definitely part of the local SEO landscape, and local backlinks, which is half and half. Like, we got to spend time getting people to link to you, to show authority, as well as your website needs to have a nice, full and complete site with a lot of good information and a lot of good key phrases that make sense. We'll have some Q&As in the end, and I've got some freebies as usual. So anyway, as we go into this, we've got the growth roadmap. So organic SEO is one piece of a very big puzzle. Lots of stuff happen when it comes to trying to triple your sales for internet marketing. And one of them is organic. We've got paid. We've got your own database of contacts, what people tend to forget to maintain and reach out every year, especially if you've got apartment complexes. Once a year, you need to be reaching out. And I'm not talking one time in January. I'm talking about every month having that rotation. Anyway, I digress. Websites, part of that, maximizing your conversion. Yes, your website absolutely matters. Reputation management, automation, which is next month. That's my webinar for next month, and how to automate your marketing and your sales, optimize results, what total spend, get clear on how much you should be investing in your marketing. I have a webinar coming up in December that's going to be talking about 2025 and getting ready for 2025. What kind of budget do you need? Average cost per lead, knowing exactly how much you're investing per lead, and then your return on your investment. So this is all part of driving leads, maximizing your conversions, optimizing results. So first, website, usually the first thing we get into reputation management, we get into search solutions, we get into expand in search solutions, the SEO, PPC, paid ads, expanding your reach is social media, email marketing, and then of course, marketing automation. And then the final is analysis and reporting and reiterations. Just keep going back through it, back around again. How can we improve the website? How can we get more reviews? What can we do with SEO and PPC? How can we better our email marketing? What can we do with marketing automation? And then back and around and around we go. That is all part of maximizing your conversions. It's never done. You're never done. Optimize your results. So if you could do me a huge favor, please, and turn off your cell phones, turn off Facebook and chat. I'm horrible at that when I go to webinars. I tend to look off on the side, but I'm a horrible multitasker, and I'm getting better at it, but I know you all can be too. If you're a moving company owner and you're serious about getting better with your results this year, the next 60 minutes will change your life. So do me a favor. If everybody's in tune, please put a 1 in the chat and let me know everything's okay. You're focused, you're ready to go. This is going to be probably a 45 minute to an hour. So just know that. and just be focused here, be in the moment. And I'm happy to answer any questions as we go. This isn't me speaking the whole time, so just be sure to ask questions. So ones, yeah. Okay, we're all good. Excellent. Perfect. All right, so why now? Why is it that we're doing this now? Why are we talking about local SEO in October? Well, first and foremost, local SEO, it takes time. Now is the time to do that, to start working on your authority and start getting backlinks and start working on your website to get that SEO going. It takes time. It could take months for this to work. It just depends. Sometimes we get some clients that have really good authority. The website's rather old. It might be 5 or 6 years old, if not more. They've already got a little bit of reputation going. I get some that have really, really bad websites, zero authority, maybe 4 or 5. Now I'm starting from like 0 at that point. You have no authority, no backlinks. Your website has like 3 pages or 4 pages. It's poorly designed. None of the right content's in there. No conversions are happening. That's going to take time. That will not happen in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. That could take a year. So the sooner you start, the better. And I get folks that come to me in February and March and think by the busy season in the summer, we should be good to go, right? No, that's not how this works. So now is the time. October, get going. Start thinking about the things you can write about and looking at your website. Now is the time. So a little backtrack a little bit. If anyone's not quite familiar with who I am, I have been in this business for 25 years. I am the wife of a Marine and the daughter of an Air Force officer. And we lived on bases my entire life. I pretty much moved every 2 years of my life. You name it, I've moved it. I've moved overseas. I've been national moves, local moves, literally like 2-block away moves. I've moved myself. I've moved with national companies. I've moved with local companies. You name it, I have moved it. I've packed myself, which I will never do again. I will never do that again. Always, always, always hire at minimum a packer. And then next best thing is hire a local mover. So anyway, definitely I've been speaker and mentor for small business owners for a long time. I've been very involved in the community of digital marketing, as well as a WordPress organizer here in Houston, which has like 3,000 members. I've worked with contractors, movers, and a lot of small business owners. So it's not just movers. I've just been really enjoying working with movers right now. I have an affinity. I like the people. So I've just kind of been in that direction. And I've learned so much. And anyway, these are years and years doing this. All right. So what is the importance of local SEO? So the importance of local SEO, first off, consumers, and I'm just going to read this, consumers are searching locally for businesses more frequently. The Consumer Behavior Index research found that 80% of US consumers search for local businesses weekly, 32% do so daily. That's not just movers, that's just from a pure perspective, local businesses in my town. 46% of all Google searches have a local intent. For local queries, 42% of searches click on results inside the Google Map pack. So when we talk about local movers, I'm not just talking about your website. I'm also talking about your Google business profile in the map. So it all works together. And mobile search is dominating more so than the desktop. Everybody goes to their site on a desktop. I'm constantly looking at what your site looks on a mobile, because in general, mobile is the most important one. What's our most? Now that second one where it's number 2, that one was showing, you can still see it's number 2, but it actually has a higher engagement rate. And we've got our engagement rate is in our engaged sessions. So even if it's not the most active, it is still extremely important when it comes to engagement. But these other 2, this is our typical what we see. About usually it's double. So if we have 200, we'll see 400 active users coming from a mobile device. And it's really interesting because what I've seen in the past too is we have a website. It's not a moving site, a website that has really, really poor mobile experience. And there's nothing we can do about it because it is highly custom. It's got a really old theme, and to change it, it's going to take $20,000 because it's huge. It's a big, big, big site. It's like 15-year-old. And he's really hesitant. But at the same time, when you look at the mobile conversions, mobile and desktop comes in at a second, mobile's number one. But when you look at actual conversions, it's half of the mobile people. So he's getting double the traffic from mobile, but half of the people actually do anything on it. And imagine if we could spend that 20K, redo the site, we can improve that, double, triple the sales. So mobile is really important. And anytime we build a site, that is primary. And every time we build a site, we make sure that the very bottom is just a click to call, phone or chat, whichever you guys prefer. So the current SEO landscape, high local search volume for moving services. We see superior conversion rates from local searches. So sometimes we have a couple clients that want to show up in areas that are not specifically for them. For example, they might have a Google business profile inside Houston, but they want to show up in Dallas or San Antonio, but they don't have a local presence. Like they don't have a Google business profile in those. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to generate San Antonio and Dallas pages for them, but the likelihood of showing up in the map will be pretty much zero. Maybe in the organic searches below that, we can do some work and get some backlinks for that. But if you want to show up in some of these other locations, then get a Google business profile, which does not mean a PO box. It does not mean your friend's basement. It actually means a physical location, maybe some warehouse somewhere you can park a truck, because Google's just not going to just allow you to create accounts everywhere. So again, mobile search dominance. AI gives us a competitive advantage. It does give us, if you are not using AI, you are at a competitive disadvantage. So we have been using AI for the past year. We've got all kinds of prompts and tools that we use to make sure that they come through right. And yeah, so we just utilize it as much as possible, but at the same time, we use it in the right way. Consumer behavior shifts. So again, people are using the AI at the top of Google searches. What's that going to do for a local search? How is that impacting how we build out websites and how we do SEO if AI is now showing? Now, the cool thing about it on Google is that they actually are attributing it to the website that they got that information from. So there might be 2 in the bottom, 2 in the right. And so that's what I recommend is, just from a 2025, what's that going to look like? And I just believe that AI is just going to take on more dominance. I don't believe SEO is going to go away anytime soon. It's just literally a shift in how we use SEO and what does SEO, search engine optimization, mean. Now, one thing about the current landscape, again, is that it is still higher conversion rates, more so than paid ads. A purchase follows 28% of all local searches. 78% of local search results are an in-person conversion. Local SEO strategies offer real potential for tangible financial impact. After making a local business search on mobile device, 88% of consumers will either call or visit the business website within 24 hours. So just be ready, knowing that, again, on mobile, it's really important. They'll probably just immediately call you. You better pick up. I'm 100% noticing that if you send somebody to a voicemail, you are probably 75% going to lose that sale. You have to pick up. You can't go to voicemail. You have to pick up every call. And I know that's tough, but you're going to have to figure out a way to do that, because they are looking for you and they are calling you. And I'm seeing it over and over again. I put clients over in the lost business if nobody picked up. Now, I don't know if that was a vendor looking for some, I don't know, but it was lost, whatever it was, because they're not calling you back. And people, and the other issue is that people, when fill out a form, again, it doesn't convert as well, because when you try and call them back, they don't pick up the phone. So we have some tools in place to help mitigate that, but still, they're going to use their phone, they're going to do a local search, and they're going to call you while they're on their phone. It is a higher conversion rate. So using the SPY keyword magic tool, we found that in the US, there are more than 5,800 keywords related to moving with the phrase near me. So in that note, 672,000 searches per month in the US, which changes when depending on your location, that contains some variation of near me. So movers near me, local movers near me, and you can see that there is a cost per click on the right. So if I were to pay for that phrase, it would cost $8.80 on average, depending on your location, depending on your competitiveness, who else is bidding for that phrase in your area. It all depends, but on average, it's $8.80. Now, movers near me, if you were to show for that phrase in the top 3, that's probably saving you hundreds of thousands of dollars. So imagine that. If we can get you getting that optimized, if you do a paid ad, show up in the Google map and you show up at the top 3, then you are golden. Now, movers near me is extremely competitive. And if you have no presence right now, not done any local SEO, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And it's going to take a long time for you to show up. And this is what we struggle with. And I have to be very honest and upfront. I am not going to tell you that, oh yeah, in 30 days, you'll show up. If I were to do that, first off, you would be upset because it's not going to happen. Now, I could do some black hat stuff and just spam the heck out of some sites to get backlinks really quick, but that will be very short-term thinking. It won't last. And you're going to go up and then crash. So I prefer the long-term way of thinking is slowly get those rankings up and go for the key phrases that are more long tail key phrases, and which we'll talk about here. 46% of all Google searches have local intent. 42% of searches click on the results map, which we just talked about. So let me go back here. Oh, I have another. Okay. Now, when it comes to the SEO fundamentals, these are the primary key components. Now, I've got almost 78, 79 point checklist for local SEO, breaking it down into these 9 elements, monthly, weekly, there are so many things that have to happen for all of this to work. The first and foremost that we try to do is get into your Google business profile and we optimize it. We get the categories, we start adding descriptions, we start adding post updates, we start looking at your services, we start adding photo. All of that has to happen for Google business profile. So first we have to make sure you claim it. Even if you tell me that you've created it, but it's not been claimed, it will not show. You'll be able to do all the things you want to do. Add photos, get reviews for it, but it will not show in the results unless you claim and verify it. So if you're having a problem verifying it, let's have a conversation on what that looks like. Most often it tends to be you didn't go through the verification process. You have to have video, you have to have your photo, your logo everywhere. You have to have all kinds of stuff. And through a live video, so those PO boxes don't work anymore. You're going to need a actual physical address. You can use your home address. That's fine. But I would probably put it as a service area. But again, you're still going to have to verify it. They're going to want to see that you have a dedicated location. With moving companies, they'll probably want to make sure the moving truck. I've had one client actually, even though it had their brand, their company logo on there, it made them get into the truck. Whatever. Anyway, the next is on-page SEO. We have to integrate localized keywords. We have to have the name, address, and phone consistency. It's called a NAP, and create relevant local content. Now, we'll probably start off with all the basic services, residential, commercial, office, packing, all the stuff that we do. That's when we build a site, it's probably about 25 pages, and we just kind of get it super meaty. And then we start adding localized key phrase landing pages based on Google Business Profile. And we just start building on this. Local citations, listings across reputable directories, utilize citation building tools. And here's one thing that's a myth. You don't need 450 citations. And one other thing, you don't have to have perfect consistency in your name, address, phone. You used to. Google's just gotten smart enough now that they know that road, ROAD, and RD dot is the same thing. We don't really worry too much. My thing is getting those local citations, things that are specific to what it is that you do. For example, There's I think it's this one. Yeah. So mymovingreviews.com. That's a directory. It's got moving reviews. So we make it, that's part of our checklist, is to add websites to this directory. It's just one of those things, but I'm not going to go through 500 directories. It's just not needed. You need the biggies, the main ones. And this is what it looks like. You need your, some of these, like Find It, you need e-business page, Yelp for sure, TrustLink, YP Local, Maps, Bing, all of these are kind of part of those main directories. Then you want to start building out more of these local citations to go back for things like the chamber. I would recommend getting a chamber, your Yelp, BBB, Better Business Bureau. Some of the things are just very typical to get those backlinks that are hyper local to your location. Reputation management, always. This is just like, give yourself a goal to double your reviews every 6 months if you can. I mean, that'd be great. Mobile optimization, ensure, again, I'm not going to go down that path again, ensure a responsive design. It's fast loading, it's easy, it's converting easily. So the phone number is right there. I should never have to find the phone number. Local link building, like I talked about, local businesses. We've got some that will sponsor a local business. So it could be a Boy Scout, could be your pool, the swimming team league. It could be, whatever community that you want to be involved in. Get on their website and get a backlink from mylocalcitycommunity.org, and it's got the city name and it's backing to you. It includes authority, build some trust. You're a real business, care about the community. Technical SEO is something that people always miss. I have one client, they left us back in March, but this beautiful site, it was already really doing well. He got impatient. He went somewhere else, built basically the same site. Somebody else redid this website, and I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny. It's his business and it's his livelihood. It's not a moving company. It was a different kind of company out in California. And when you look at it from a technical SEO, in the back end of the code, it says no index. There's a meta code in there that you're literally telling Google, don't index this website. I keep checking to see if maybe something changes, if they notice it, but they don't. That website, I don't care how gorgeous it is, will never get indexed because somebody turned off the indexing and added code to not index the homepage. Technical SEO is really, really important. Speed, broken links, security, schema markup, which is basically telling Google this little piece of information could be a video, it could be a blog post, it could be a review. So this is just really detailed code that you have to be kind of a programmer and a developer to know and understand. This is not something that the average person can do. These are the things that we've got checklists to make sure happen. Even the most basic, index this page. That is so basic. If anything, you go into a tool called Google Search Console, and Google Search Console will tell you which pages are being indexed. And if nobody's looking at that, that's a big problem. If everybody's, if you've got your marketing company is building this beautiful site and they're not doing their due diligence about looking at these pages to make sure they're all indexed. If they aren't, why? Is there a duplication of content? Is it because there's an issue? Is it because you literally marked it do not index? That's a problem. Content marketing, for sure, localized content. We want some visual elements to engage. When I talk about visual, I'm not talking about stock photos. I really, really recommend you have actual real people photos on your site. Real people, your guys, your team, your CEO, your office. Everybody needs to be on this website with their cool t-shirts and their hats, whatever is branded for your truck in front of the truck. It just is all part of that branding, trust, authority, real photos of your team. Now, I might have some stock photos and we'll put your logo on boxes. That's okay. But it doesn't go as far as having actual photos of your team. So social media integration is also part of local SEO. People ask, why do you need access to our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube? Because those are authority sites that we want to get backlinks to. I'm not looking to do social media for you. It's very hard to do that for another company, right? So I tell people, if you really want to do social media the right way for engagement and branding mechanisms and getting your face out there and all that fun stuff, that should be an internal, somebody inside the business, because you need a lot of photos, you need a lot of ideas, you need to be creative. So somebody is either used to it, hire a college student that's into social media work, somebody in the business that's really gung-ho about it, but it's not us. And what we do, though, is we will create these accounts. We'll create the Twitter, we'll create the YouTube channel, we'll create the Instagram, we'll do all that. We're going to brand it because I need that. I need you to own all of these. We'll even create a medium.com. I need you to own reddit.com/user/moving company. I need the Twitter. So we have a tool that says, does this domain, is this brand still available for all these different platforms? And we'll create them. Then we share this content that we're going to write for you with the blogs. We share them on everything. Again, I'm not trying to get people to comment and all that. It'd be great if it did, but really I'm just trying to get people to link back and to get link backs to the site. So, all right, that's a lot there. Now, I do want to talk about one more thing about the fundamentals here. Now, this is really important, is this EAT methodology that Google came up with last year or a couple of years ago. They've added the experience level, and experience, expertise, authority, and trust. If you haven't heard that by now, what that means is we live in a world of mistrust. We don't know what's real and what's not. It's getting harder and harder to tell. We have AI voices, we have AI photos, we have AI chatbots, we have AI content. What's real? It's getting harder to tell. And Google has tried very, very hard to incorporate this into the algorithm of how do we tell something is real. And one area is backlinks. So this is why I'm highlighting that these signals, all these different signals that are coming back to your site, that this is a real business, a real company. That's why we want reviews. That's why we want what we call do follow links from these local businesses and local companies. Google business profile listings. Now, if you have that, that's a legitimate account because you spent time getting it verified. You went to Google, you got a video, you showed that you've got a legit office, you got moving trucks. So you've spent that time to be verified. If you go to Google Guaranteed, it's another level of verification because you're going to have insurance. You're going to have to show there's other, your specific business documentation to get Google Guaranteed. Now, other areas is fresh content on the client site. So, how many blogs do I got to write? Well, it just kind of depends. We start off, we kick off every site with 2 blogs. And then depending on the package that you're on, it could be 1, 2, 3, or 4 blogs. We usually have one big blog. It's called a pillar post. We might have additional blogs as we go along. Could be 500 words. Not real keen on those, but they might just answer a question. And we might have 2,000, 3,000 word blog posts. Now, ongoing content. You have to keep updating the content. That could be landing pages, location pages, service pages. You have to constantly signal back to Google that this is an active site. On the left, again, is just more, we just went flying through here. On the left is, again, we've already kind of talked about all these, but I want to highlight the fact that when we do content for you, especially the blogs, we put you are the author, and we have to make sure that you're the author, not us. And it's funny because I go to websites that have like the author on there and it's like, you can see the marketing agency's name at the bottom. Well, that's not a good look. If I put your face and your name, we can mix it up. It could be the CEO, it could be the business development, it could be the salesperson, it could be the office manager, it could be a driver. I don't know. And if we can mix that up and show that the company is growing with different authority figures, that's what we're looking for. All right, now we have to do a comprehensive keyword research. This is, I've done this so many times already, I kind of already know what we should be doing, but that doesn't mean that it translates into each state. For example, long distance moving in Texas has a very different meaning, because I can go from Dallas to Corpus Christi and it might take me, 15 hours. Is that long distance moving? It's actually intrastate moving. I'm still within Texas, but somebody might Google long distance move because they're thinking, boy, that's a long distance. And it is. But that doesn't mean the same thing from somebody going from Boston to New York. It's much shorter, but it is actually, quote, long distance, because I'm leaving the state from Massachusetts to New York. It's not intrastate, it's interstate. But is it long distance? Yeah. It just depends. And so we have to be real careful when we use things. No, so we really like to incorporate more local. We get better results if we have local key phrases. City moving and storage, city residential moving, city full packing. We're still going to have a full packing site, but we start building out local city pages based on some Google Business Profile services that we've hung up. So I don't want people to get hung up on a specific key phrase. Google has its own interpretation, multiple, like company moving services versus company moving service, plural versus singular, right? Should we do one? No, just do one. Do the plural version. Google's smart enough to know that it's basically the same thing. In addition, it could be moving company services, moving services. It kind of knows the same thing. I'm not saying you don't want to build these pages out, but don't get hung up on one key phrase, and don't get hung up because you think that key phrase is the bomb. Keyword research is going to tell you, you might think it might be home moving services. And okay, right? You might Google that thinking, wow, look, I'm number one. This is great. And that's great. We want to keep that. We don't want to mess with that. You might be getting some traction from that, but that could be 20 people on average. What if we were to get 250 on average for residential or home office moving service or something, along those lines? More residential moving services typically is a little higher, plus the city name. You could be getting 350 on average. If I can get 1 to 2%, because 1 to 2% click-through rate, somebody clicks on your Google search results on that page, you typically only see 1 to 3% of 90 versus 250 is a big difference. So in addition, we will look at, if you've got a site that's been around a while, that's one of the things I'm going to look for. I'm going to do some keyword research. I'm going to look at your Google Search Console. What does Google think about your website? What do they think your key phrases are? You'd be surprised how that works. I see people like, they're not cheap business moving services, right? They might be charging $2,500 to $3,000 on average. That's not cheap in some locations. What's cheap is like a $500 move or labor only move. But Google has convinced itself, because you've used affordable and cheap in different places on your site, that you are the cheapest. It's up to you if you want to be found like that. Again, it depends, but just know that's what Google has said. Oh, wow, this site is about cheap moving services. Might want to make a change on that. So, and there's tools to use. I don't say use this one tool. They're all very similar, and they all tend to have similar results. Just look at it from a local perspective. I don't like SpyFu because I can't see it by the city. I need to see by Houston. I need to see by Akron. I need to see by New York. I need to see by Boston, not nationally. So I use Web CEO and SpyFu for that information. So these are some moving keywords. If you want, you can go here to the keyword list, and it looks like this. And you will see I have updated it. This is 2024 January of, on average, the searches for all of these key phrases. Average monthly, this is US, the competition if it's high or low, and then you'll see, each month on average. So you see, moving near me on average, 246,000 in the US. This is not locality based, so it's going to depend on your location. But you are free to download this, have fun, but you can see your city, right? So when you add your city here, cross-country movers, Blandon cross-country movers, Blandon, PA cross-country movers, Akron local movers, Houston moving services, right? So always add the service or your location, your city, and you'll get better results. But this is where you want to start with and then add your city as you're doing your keyword research. More here, just click this. That's going to go to the same place. I will have this in the notes when I post this. So you don't have to rush to copy this. Okay, let me just stop for a second. Is everybody good? Is there any I'm sorry if I feel like if I'm going too fast, tell me and let me know if you've got any questions. Happy to answer. I can take a break. So if we're good, we're good. I'm happy to answer. All right, cool. Yeah, put a 1 if you need me to slow down. We'll do that. All right. Now, just ask yourself from a branding perspective, if I Google your name, what shows up? If I Google, let's just as an example, if I Google B2B moving company, oops, not typing here. What happens? Now, I'm in Houston, so it is going to show up B2B moving companies in the Houston area, but this is the company I'm looking for, as well as this one, as well, these two here. And so as well, B2B moving, this is B2 moving. So we've got 2 of them for B2B moving company. Now, if I were to change my location, so my thing is where I'm physically in Houston. If I change this to, where are they located? They are in Uniontown, Ohio, right? What's going to happen now? If I'm in that location, I need you to be number 1. Now it's showing here, I'm obviously managing this for them, but you can see the B2B moving company. That's not because I manage it. That's because that's what they're showing us. So from a branding perspective, what happens if I Google your company name? Are you dominating here? So we've got B2B moving company. This is their Facebook page. We've got the Better Business Bureau in here. We've got another web page. We've got MapQuest. So it pretty much dominates except for this one company here. So this is kind of where I need you to just take a moment, Google your company name. What does it look like? Who's your competition with your company name? All right, where are you coming up? And again, physically in your location. This is a tool, if you're curious, this is a tool that helps you change your location when you do a Google search. And it's a Chrome add-on. All right, now the Google Business Profile Optimization. I have a whole webinar about this. We can go into a lot more detail then. If you want to go to the YouTube channel, there is a webinar where we go into what to do and what to look for. But the question is, do Google Maps matter? And they absolutely do, 100%. So when we take on a client, first thing we got to do is make sure the Google BP is claimed. That's number 1. If it's not, we basically stop and we get it claimed. I've got still a couple clients that did open up a second location, but they haven't gotten it confirmed or verified, mostly because they didn't quite set up the right kind of setting at the location, or it's not a real location. Like my buddy's letting me use the address. That's not going to work. You have to go through the process. And again, I will say this again. If you want another location, you have to have an actual physical location. You have to pay for it. Google Business Profiles are no longer free. It's not going to show if you don't have a physical location and you have it verified. You can, while you're trying to get it verified, you still can use it. It just won't show. If you verified something and you make a change and you change your address, if you don't verify it, it will show the old address until you show the new addresses. It's true. So Do Google Maps? Yeah, they absolutely do. And these are just some of the examples from, this is from 2022, a couple of our clients. They absolutely matter. Now, calls don't get tracked anymore. We don't know that anymore. Chat, it's usually clicks and directions. There's no chat, there's no calls, and because they want you to use a Google Business Guaranteed. So the local ads, Google Business local ads. Now, are you ranking on Google Maps? According to a study by Moz, that rank and the local 3-pack receive an average click-through rate of 44%. So if we can get you oh geez, I just have to use my map here. So you can see A is Ample Moving New Jersey. They'll get 44% compared to 8% for those that appear only in the organic listings. So after the map that's where, so you got number 1, white glove. Number 2 is 2 men in a truck, but most people are still going to go to that map. Mostly because it's again, an authority, Google Maps, they know it's verified. They know there's reviews on it. They want to see physically where you're located. And it also, it begins by residence or where I'm at, where I'm pinned at. So it is very, very important. Are you ranking on the Google Maps? 45% of all clicks. So this is one of our clients. You can see the ad at the top. So we couldn't get them locality specifically. So we made sure that they were in, at least from an ad perspective. And if you can't get it in there, because they're physically, they were in Magnolia, Texas. They moved to Houston. It really did a number on the Google local map. And you can see Graceful moves here. You can see they're in Cypress, but they moved to a different location. And I would say another thing, if you have a location and it's verified, you go to a second, you move, you have a second location, don't close the first one. Just don't, because you've got it. Don't close it. Keep it. So if now you got 2 locations. One's already verified. Google's not going to come back at you, right? You've got it verified. You got reviews on it, and you just keep it. Don't close it down. Keep it. It's got a whole bunch of reviews on it. If you have a second location, it's been verified. Keep it. Keep working on it. If you can do it a third one, because I guarantee you, people like the larger companies, who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking? 2 Men in a Truck. They practically have a location, a Google Business Profile, actual physical location in pretty much every city out there. They've spent millions on it. You can, at minimum, have your 2 or 3 and keep going from there. Now, are you going to have to pay? Now, again, if you've moved, you've got that, you don't pay there anymore. That's fine. You got a listing. Don't change anything. Now, if you're going to try and get, here's just as an example, the locksmiths. I have my own company address is one of those. It's got 2-story, right? It's got leasing office space. We can use the conference room and fun stuff like that. There's a receptionist. I have a physical space. And the owner came to me asking a question because locksmiths kept coming up to her, because locksmiths are just, they're probably the reason why we have to go through a verification, because they really just spam the heck out of the maps, causing a lot of problems for a lot of people. And what they were doing is they'd go to her and they would lease space for 3 months, 6 months. Google caught onto this and refused to give them a Google Business Profile. Even though they had a little office space, it was a locksmith and they knew the game. So if you game the system, Google will figure it out eventually. They always do. Moving companies, that's why they want to see the truck in front of the warehouse or in front of the office, right? So just know that if you finally get a place, don't let it go. If you get a second place, fabulous. Keep both locations. All right, enough of that. I've already gone through this. Complete, accurate information. This is a client, Best US Moving. They're number 1 here for the phrase movers near me in Blandon, PA. And it's a long-term key phrase. Don't get me wrong. We're continually working, trying to get them into Blandon, PA movers, something less specific, but movers near me, high competitive. Lots of people search it. Just not a lot of people in Blandon. Pennsylvania. So Reading, Pennsylvania, New York isn't too far away, but again, New York is really, really competitive. So we just kind of have to be careful about where your locations are. If you want to show up in that location, then go physically to Reading, or I think the next place is in Philadelphia, and get a location there. Not to say don't do New York, just know that it's really competitive, and the likelihood of you showing up just depends on how hard you work. Utilize posts, make sure to do the questions and answers. So one of the things we do is about 5 times a month, because I don't want to spam, we ask a question and we answer it. How much does it cost to move to XYZ city? Do you do full packing? Can you store my items temporarily, right? Those are just very typical question and answers with key phrases. And we just answer them. We ask the question and we ourselves answer them. Add interesting images and video. So what, always be taking photos. Always. That phone should be out at every move, every time. Just take photos constantly. Here's the thing. Now, does it matter if it's geotagged? Yes and no. It's more impressive if a reviewer, if a client who's reviewing you reviews and uploads a photo from the physical location that they're at. That helps. What we found, though, is that geotagging, artificially geotagging a photo and uploading it is just not, it doesn't really move the needle. We still add photos because I still want the most recent photos of the team on Google Business Profile 3 or 4 times a month. In addition, the cream of the cream top reviews are people that mention names, include a key phrase, like we had the best residential move by George and Tom. They were so helpful. We got there on time, no issues, nothing was broken, 5 stars, upload photos. Those are great. That's what we want. Those are just, the meaty reviews are so good. We can get those. Yay. I love seeing those. There's ways to try to do that, encouraging, and you can give them postcards that list out these are the best kinds of reviews. If you could just kind of guide them a little bit, for sure, mention the driver's name and the mover's names, and a little incentive to folks to being a little bit more aggressive with the reviews, asking for reviews. Some of my clients say that the guys are a little shy, they just want to get out of there, but maybe we can have a contest or something that might help them, just kind of impress upon them the importance of getting these reviews right then and there. Now, don't stop there. If they don't, you want to use any tool you have available to you to continually remind them to get those reviews. All right, unverified listings, they may not show. You can see Best US Moving. They've got 2 locations, but I'm only seeing the second one because I am a manager. And you can see it's got the blue check mark that's been confirmed. So the second one isn't showing. And we want to make sure that we work on that and get that verified. Another one on the left is Alpine Moving. It's kind of the same thing. They've got one that's been verified and one that hasn't been. So the second one, and again, same with Best US Moving, that they might show, but it's not going to show new reviews. It's not going to show any changes. If it's a different address, it's not going to show. So just careful when you do, make sure you do everything you can to verify it. And again, I'm going to go back to Alpine and make sure don't let go of the Fort Collins location, keep it and work on the Loveland. And, Google Business Profile summary, some optimization. So you can see, I just want to give you an example how that's not my client. So here's one B2B Moving, there's just always photos being added. We're just constantly upping photos. And you can see they're not the most beautiful things. These are not professional shots. These are iPhone. So Mo here, he's amazing. Shout out to Mo. He's so good at this. He does all kinds of great videos and he uploads them. Sometimes we go to the Facebook page because they forget, and we go to Facebook, we grab Facebook and we upload here as well. So we're always trying to augment the work that they do. So then I always having to think about it. They've got reviews. They get guys, he's so good at it. I'm like, how are you doing this? They get reviews and he's just such a sweet guy. Everybody just wants to help him. And so if you can figure out a way to get video reviews, that's wonderful. And here's another example. There's Blue Walks, right? This has been around a while. They've got almost 400 reviews. And you can see again, all the different photos. Some are, they have a new warehouse. This is a video that we uploaded back in May. And just to showcase all that this is they have a physical location. You can see there's their logo, always updating with the latest truck, right? Here's another one of their warehouse, their temporary warehouse facility. You know, all the different types of photos, constantly taking photos, and all types of moving, all different shapes and sizes. So just always don't worry about professional shots. Take these photos, upload them, throw them on social media, just keep generating different kinds of content. So what can we improve when it comes to Google Business Profile? There's a list. There's about 20 items on here that we want to make sure that we do. We've got, for sure, the business name accuracy. Do not try and spam it by saying, let's say B2B moving / Akron moving company / Cleveland moving company. It's not gonna happen. Just be very clear. It's B2B moving company. Don't try and add cities and all that. You might be able to do one B2B Akron or B2B moving company in Akron, Ohio, or something. You could probably get away with that, but you'll get some folks out there, they'll try and correct that for you. Google might not even show it like that. Verify the address, phone number, hours, just fill out everything. There's so much opportunity to fill this out, and make sure that this is the next level here. Make sure that you're connecting your Google Business Profile to your website. So what I love is when I go to a contact page and it's got like the city map and not like their Google Business Profile. Like we want to connect. We want to connect to the Google Business Profile. We want to connect to the website. If you've got 2 locations, even better. On the contact page, both of them should be on there. We're trying to spread our wings. We're trying to make sure that Google knows that this is us. It's really us. And we're going to make sure you know that, because we're going to put on YouTube, we're going to have the map link to the Google Business Profile on YouTube. We're going to have the website link on the YouTube video. If you go to my website, you'll see at the very bottom, that's what I'm doing. And you just got to fill this thing out. It's a constant iteration, changes, updates, fixing. Something new comes out. All right, that's new. Let's, test it. Is this going to work? That's another side of this, constantly testing. And what do I have this is sending me to? Yeah, so Great Movers Katy, that's an example of adding the city, and it's still there. But see, that is their company name, greatmoverskaty.com. So you can't deny that. Now, I would be a little concerned if Great Movers Katy wants to get shown in Houston. That would be my concern about that. Like, oh yeah, how come we don't show up in Pearland or North Houston and Cypress? Well, because you're in Katy. You're very clear that you are a Katy business. I don't know if they're doing well. Hopefully they are. They got 44 reviews, but that would be my concern in that regard. And let's just look real quick. You can see how many photos. We got some good photos. Awesome, right? Different types. Keeps going. Perfect. That's what we want. We've got some reviews. We need to work on that, especially if we're at 4.6 and we've only got 44 reviews. So we want to make sure. Now, always respond. If you haven't done so, go back. They've got 2 years ago, they responded, but since then, we've got 3 more reviews, but we haven't had a response yet. So we respond to everything, even the 1 stars. ChatGPT is your best friend. Give it a prompt like you are an expert digital marketer, or you're an expert moving company. You have a 1-star review. It's from Jane Smith. Here's what they said. What's a professional way of responding? And you can tweak it as you go. A lot faster than trying to come up and getting emotional because maybe what they said wasn't quite accurate. It was a little hyperbole. So AI is a great tool to help combat that. Another example, again, we've only got 44 reviews. Prime Moving Boston. Again, putting the city location, but Boston's a very big, highly popularized area. So to me, that makes sense. Katy isn't quite as big. It is a suburb, essentially a small town just south of Houston. Boston is a very big, very competitive. So showing up, having that name Boston, great. Again, if you want another location in New York, Prime Moving New York is probably what they'll do. And let me go back here. But you'll notice it goes to PrimeNet Boston. So I'll bet you they've got a bunch of different locations other than just Boston. So that's the Boston location here is going to the Boston landing page. And you'll see here, right? And we've got different services. I would be filling this out a lot more. We would be like, we'll put like 30 of them in here. Reviews, again, this is what I mean by photos. Highly, highly recommend, and they add photos. Wonderful. But we're not responding. It's been 3 months, 4 months, so we're missing a response there. We got some updates. Fabulous. That's a day ago, 6 hours ago, right? Drive safely. We've got a link back. Looks like we're doing a lot of content here just for the Boston. There's a call now. Call now. Call now. Call now. I'm not quite sure. I'm more impressed with driving links back, right? So here we go. It's going to send me to the Boston local moving company. There you go. Questions to ask before hiring a local moving company. So that must be a blog post. So this is just an example, things to look at. All right, on-page SEO strategies. Here we are. Clear, logical site structure. You'll notice on the, let's look up another one that we've just, who am I thinking of? Let's go back to B2B. We have local movers, residential movers. So notice the architecture of the site, college movers, right? I'm not saying local movers, residential movers, but the URL is saying this is local mover, residential mover. Now, this local movers is not on our top menu. It is not one of these items in here. But local movers, we have, it's kind of what we call an index page. And the same thing goes with locations. You'll notice that Akron Moving Company is part of Ohio, right? So if I get rid of this, there is still a page for Ohio Moving Company. And I can't remember, right? We have it at the very bottom, but I'm really more concerned about the top city and local pages, what we're building out here. But at the same time, when I scroll down, it's all about moving to Ohio, but I've got different where local Ohio movers, and I've got Akron moving, Cleveland, Alliance, and we'll keep adding different locations in here. Affordable Ohio Moving Company, how to prepare for a move to Ohio, how much does it cost to hire? So all this just filling out content about Ohio moving companies. So site structure, logical, makes sense. Make sure the navigation is super clear to find it. It doesn't mean you have to show every single page on the menu. That could be a sitemap at the very bottom if they want to get more detail. Really, I meant this is for Google, and we link to these different pages within the content of the site. Content specific. So don't just have our services. Residential, commercial, packing, piano, specialty, junk removal, all the service that you do should have their own individual pages. For us, we keep adding on to that. You'd be surprised. Creating location specific, like I just showed you, importance of including local keywords in the title. Ohio Moving Company, Akron, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. You can even go in more specific and do more in the community. So here I'm in Greatwood, Sugarland, which is its own little master plan in Sugarland. So we would have a Greatwood Moving Company, and you'd probably show up. There's about 4,000 people in this community. Not bad. Greatwood Moving Company. Why not? Importance of including website performance, including SSL. So those are just all those on-site SEO strategies. Title tag, H1, H2s, all that is part of on-page SEO. You have to organize these pages very clearly. There's only one H1 that tells Google this is basically the topic of the page. That does not equal the meta title. Meta descriptions you certainly want to do, but that doesn't mean Google's going to use your meta description. We just want to make sure the meta description is more for a call to action, have the key phrase in it. That doesn't mean people are going to click on it. If it's number 2 or 3, why aren't they clicking on it? Maybe we need to update the meta description. But be careful. If we update something there, are we going to lose our ranking? Tricky. Geotag the images with alt tags. So for example, even though we might have these different locations in here, we upload the photo for that particular location. So we'll have an image of somebody moving in, packing, and that might be the Ohio packing, professional packing. That would be the name. They're actually physically packing. It would be the caption. It would be the alt tag. So we're just trying to make very, very clear to Google that this page is about Akron, Ohio, packing, professional packing. The image is going to reflect that. They're not going to be exact. I'm not trying to spam Google. They're going to have different variations of packing, professional packing, full service packing, partial packing, might be on the packing Akron, Ohio page. And it's going to be a helpful resource. Let me show you one other area in here that people ask me about this. This is Best US. And I've had somebody ask me, like, why are you adding all these resources? Well, because I want this to be a resource. I want people to look for Allentown movers and have this be part of the Allentown moving resource page. Who knows? I might get picked up for some of the zip codes. I'm not saying that's the end all be all and that's absolutely going to happen. It's just part of a larger content structure. So definitely having more than 300-400 words on a page. Again, don't have a service page and then have one paragraph per little service. It's just not going to do anything for you. You're just going to sit there. You're not going to get found. So moving on, we're going to have, it looks like I keep leverage multimedia. Absolutely do some videos. If you can, be comfortable with video, short reels, 1 minute long, interesting. You've got a piano, you've got an interesting armoire, you've got some weird setup that you've got to specially, pack this thing. It's a really big monster mirror. How is this going to get moved? Well, let's record that, add that multimedia, pages for each service, pages for the cities, unique content and nearby now to pass the heat map to the city pages, unique content on every page. And again, on and on and on with all kinds of things. Now, page experience needs to be very good. This is Google's method of telling us whether or not the page is good. We look to Google to tell us, what is Google saying about our website? Core web vitals, mobile, desktop, super important, especially mobile. We've always got it secured. It's got encryption on it. So those are things that we absolutely want to make sure that we've done. And these are just some of the areas that, for example, Seattle Movers, we've got the title tags at the very top. That's a meta title tag. 1H1, Greater Seattle Area Local Residential Moves. We've got an H2 tag. We've got some content in there. We've got links back. So these could be packing and moving, links to the packing and moving page. You typically stress be moving might be going to a blog, but we're always optimizing the page with the right structure. And I'll just say, I would not use that photo to stock photos. I would absolutely have pictures of the team packing and also more photos of them loading the truck. And more information about, the structure, Houston Home Movers, storage services, packing, right? So we got Houston Moving Services, areas that we serve, and the resources. So just more each page for every service. And this is an old screenshot. It should show you more kind of how it looks now. If you go to the Blue Ox moving site, you'll notice that the navigation has just grown and grown, right? We've got service areas now, we've got resources. So Houston, they are solely in Houston, and right, so we're building this all out here. Summit is another example. They're kind of expanding into Dallas, so they're working on their Google business profile to get a Dallas. And again, way more content in there, packing services, storage, service areas. And this is an example where we're probably going to have to go back and do what we call a mega menu, because it's just getting really long. And to have this show on a smaller iPad or even a phone, it'll be too difficult. So we're going to have to come back in here and look at that and change that menu. But you'll notice every page is a service. This is just in a remodeling company. I don't know why I put that service, but again, Aurora Home Remodels, Batavia Home Remodels is in Illinois, Geneva Home Remodels, Sycamore Home Remodels, right? We just keep building a page for every location. Here's more. This is what I meant by a mega menu. So every page, military moves, senior moves, piano, next day, storage, packing, exclusive use of a truck, fine art movers. They do all of these things. Are they getting a lot of traction for something like library and archive moves? Not really, but there might be 10 people that are, oh, perfect. We have boxes and boxes and we're moving our library, On-page content specific, again, individual locations, right? Always building out the locations. Localized content, we have things like, what's the difference between living in Dallas and one in Houston. And what's the difference in New York and Boston, right? So we just build out very local content and blog posts to help people understand. And some of these get picked up. We were #1 for Houston versus Dallas for one of our clients. Just that phrase. And they got crazy traffic for it, which is great because they're in Houston and they're in Dallas. So that Google starts seeing that people are interested in this content, and they get picked out for different phrases related to Houston, related to Dallas. At first, my client was a little skeptical on that, like, what are we doing that for? But proved them. See, look what happened. So on-page SEO strategies, here's Paxson Moving. We've got the phone, right? These resources that I was sharing with you, looking at the phone number just becomes a resource. So this is one of those pages that we'll link to for a blog post to get information about police, libraries, schools, the council, the mayor's office, that kind of stuff. So we put that in there. And then on the left, you can see, again, more specific landing pages. Remember, I was telling you about the old client of mine that had a meta title that had no index. This isn't that website, but you can see here, this is back-end code where we have the title. You can see the title here. You can see that, do I have it specifically in here? There we go. See the meta named robots, index, follow. The other company had no index, no follow. Not good. Super basic. Make sure it's indexed. Make sure we follow. This is all the content. This is all code in the background that we make sure of. I'm going a little bit further into the titles. They're not always going to be guaranteed to be exact. So if you look at what your search results show, like, why does it say that? That's not what I told you to write. We don't have control of that. Google's going to put what they want to put in there. We want to balance between using the key phrase and getting clicks. Limit them to 60, 65 characters in length. With the description, we want 155 to 160 characters, not words, characters. Otherwise, they get cut off. You see Houston student movers who provide exceptional local, we don't know what they say. Here's more ... So they went beyond the 160 characters. Use trigger words, call now, why us, best, ultimate. Those kinds of words are trigger to drive traffic. More on page is a schema. So we have, every time we build a site, we add schema. It's a local moving company in the back code for schema. And this is on the right is what that script looks like. So you can see I just quickly found a company called Tech Haven, description, the best routers you'll find online, right? And it's got the type, city, address, and that's kind of what schema looks like. And Google picks this data up as a local moving business. And let me show you, let's see, real time. I'll show you what that looks like. Schema. Schema validator is what we want. So I put this in here, I run the test. So it's set up as an organization, right? Houston Moving, it's an alternative name. Summit, there's our logo, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and this is all part of that schema. And what we do is we add, it's a moving company, it's local, we add article schema, we add review schema, we add video schema. If you start doing videos, we embed them on the site. You can see there's blog posting. You can see there's site navigation, so it knows the structure. So you can see all the navigation gets picked up here with the URLs. This is called schema, and this is next level on-site technical side to local SEO, or just SEO in general. And this is, again, more information, valid items. This is a different checker that you can do. Was it crawl? This is Google's Search Console will give you that same type of data. What we want to know is if the Google has indexed the page is primarily what we're trying to do, as well as what is it saying about you on here. So this particular Houston Packing Services, All My Sons, has an FAQ on the page, and it's got a review snippet. We've already kind of gone through all this. Local citations is super important, but you don't have to go through 400 different directories. Don't pay $100 a month just to get yourself listed. There's some companies out there will list you, but then if you stop paying them, it all goes away. We do it manually. If you stop paying us, it doesn't go away. Consistent NAP. You want to make sure the NAP is consistent in terms of the right address is there, but we no longer really care if it's exact match. We don't spend time doing that anymore. We want high quality directories. Yelp is one of them. Bing is one of them. Apple Maps is one of them. Better Business Bureau, those high-end, high-quality directories. It doesn't mean you have to advertise on them. It doesn't mean you have to be, spend money on these things, but you do need to have verified your address. There are some citation building tools that we use. That's like, for example, we like Bright Local. It's a great tool. They'll do it for you, but you can see here, it's not quite done. We have notes, so we sometimes have to verify it ourselves. It's not just a matter of automating this and just happening it. There's some things we have to do. And this is just a big old list here. Super Pages, City Church, Craigslist, MapQuest, Facebook. And this is again, Facebook. We need to get your account on Facebook if you haven't done that. Instagram, Twitter, Medium, Reddit, all of that needs to have it. These are the tools: Bright Local, Moz, Whitespark, Yext, SEMrush. I don't recommend Yext. Again, that's one of the companies that's going to make you pay. If you stop paying, they all go away. I don't know how they do that, but that's the thing that they do. So I do recommend Bright Local. They are very good. Online reviews and reputation. We know this. Encourage the customer reviews, respond to reviews. There are methods to implement strategies. We'll talk about that in the automation side next month. But you need to be a little aggressive. If you're using Smart Moving, it does work. You send out your final invoice and in it they request a review. I say don't stop there. We have our own tool, the Moving Up app, that has a follow-up system that you can engage and automate that will automatically send people follow-ups if they haven't done so, which I highly recommend. Respond to reviews, takes a minute. You can do it on your phone. Use the AI tools out there to help you if you don't know what to say. These are just some examples of options to get more reviews. Everybody gets a thank you card where with the QR code, it sends you straight to the Google review. At minimum, you should be handing these out after every move. I wouldn't even say wait till afterward. I would wait until you get to the location. You're maybe in the middle, maybe you're taking a break, having some lunch. Perfect opportunity to ask them right then and there and hand them that. If they're happy, and not so happy, maybe not. If they're happy, because while you're there, it kind of engages that. They might not do it, but it's there. The card is within. You might staple it at the very end. Another one, give them one for during lunch, staple it to whatever documentation they have to sign off. Put that on there. Again, another reminder. They get an email with a reminder. We just want to constantly ask for these reviews. You could use a lottery or kind of a method where people kind of, every time their name is mentioned inside the review, put them in a bowl. And at the end, they pick their name and they get a prize of some kind. And it just encourages people to kind of be more forthright with reviews. ChatGPT is your best friend. This is an example of one of the prompts that I use for answering reviews. Just screenshot that really quick and just use that phrase if you need to. Local backlinks, like I mentioned, local sponsorships are really great. Get some links back from these organizations, nonprofits, chambers, businesses. You can share links with other people. So if you have a realtor or if you've got a storage company that you like to work with, if you've got apartment complexes and they've got a website of resources, ask to put your name on there with a link back to your site and you'll do the same. We could create an apartment complexes in the Houston area that we recommend, something like that. We could cross links. Always have a helpful local content for your location. Have the ultimate moving checklist. We create this for every client. We rebrand it so it comes from you. It's a PDF. You can. What I say recommend is hand this. If you actually visit for estimates, or you could mail this. This definitely gets emailed to them. But I've had clients show up at the house and it's like sitting on top of the desk and they've been using it. So it is a tool to keep rebranding yourself, and especially if they're using it a lot. Again, social media, this is an example of items that we're sharing, returning the backlinks. Just, I'm not looking for engagement. I'm looking for backlinks. I'm looking for people to link, click it, and go back to our site. So I recommend you yourself do this now, share this on social media. And when you click here, it just drives traffic to the site. It's a indicator to Google that there is interest. So we're trying to just build to Google and tell Google that there's an authority, that people are interested in this content and they are linking back. Promoting blog posts, moving guides, special offers, service pages, directs traffic to your website. So I'm not just talking blog posts. I'm talking about the moving guide. We have the ultimate moving guide. If you're coming up on a move next month, you're not ready to talk to us, great, but we do recommend our ultimate moving checklist. Go here and grab it and get their name and their email and just kind of stay on top of mind. Special offers on your social media posts. Again, drive them back to the site to get the special offer. Service pages. Talk about the local moving for residential, local moving for offices, right? Right now it's October 2024 and we're coming down to the high season. I recommend apartments. I recommend office, and just have those service pages talking about those specific apartment moves, office moves, college moves, and share that on your social media. Always keep driving them back to the site. There's organic social. This is just a snapshot of somebody where, again, it's not the biggest driver. I'm not looking for sales. I'm not looking for leads from these. I'm just trying to use it to build up your local SEO and your optimization. Artificial intelligence, using these AI tools for better local SEO, it does help with some content creation. Now, we don't just throw something out there that is all AI generated. We have writers. We will use it to help come up with ideas. We will use it to create outlines. After that, we might use it for social media posts. What should we say about this? We give it some guidelines. Other than that, it is not AI written. These other tools like location pages might be about 50-50 because we're looking up local resources, because it used to be 20 minutes to go find the mayor, the library, the school, all of that. But now I can use AI and say, I need a table, create a table of moving resources for somebody that just is moving to this location, Akron, Ohio. Give me 10 resources. For example, police station, library, and it'll just give that to me. So that's where AI has been very, very helpful for us, can be for you. Review responses, I shared that with you as well. Guest posting, so writing content on other people's site. Again, we don't really use it all AI, but it does help us find other locations, other websites to guest post on. And now, this is where we have questions. So if you have questions on what we should be doing, what you should be doing, I am happy to discuss that. What did you learn? What have you noticed so far when you're doing your website and your local SEO? What have you noticed? And is there anything that you would like to share? So I'm waiting if anybody has any questions about that. I just give it a second and let's see if we can come up with some questions. Okay, let me look here. So Jared, okay, you're asking me what are some tools that I recommend for tracking SEO performance. So I like SpyFu. It's just not as expensive as Rank Math, or who am I thinking of? Who's the company, the big company? They charge like $3,000 a year, unless you have the free trial, but the free version is very limited. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the company name. SEO, why can't I think of their name? SEMrush. So SEMrush is very popular. BrightLocal is popular. There's Moz. We use Web CEO. It's not very popular at all, but it is everything I need. It's got drilling down to location based. So by city, by county, I can see how many searches I can do with that. For some reason, SEMrush does not do that. Ahrefs is another good one. Backlinko. Those are all really recommend. I just been using these tools for a very long time. SpyFu I like. It's very clean. It's easy to understand. The reports are easy to understand, and it doesn't overwhelm me. I think some of these others are just, it's so much information. You get lost in what you're just trying to look for, a specific level of data to help you make a decision. It's like squirrel. You're just going down this path, and before you know it, you still don't have the answer to your question. So I just like very simple. I want to look at my competitors. I want to look at the content that my competitors are writing. I want to look at the backlinks that my competitors have. I want to know how many people typically search this. I use free tools like Google Search Console, Google Analytics, the schema markup. I look up the Google Business Profile tools. Oh, that's one you might be interested in. So this tool that I have here, Ahrefs, it's free, right? So it's giving me keyword ideas. I'm not paying for Ahrefs, so I can't really get the people also ask. There's other tools. If I come in here, if it's in here, it gives me more data on I can do an audit. I think I only get 1 or 2 a month audit. So I've got other tools for this, but this is called GMB Everywhere. It's a tool add-on to the browser and extension, review audits, right? Some of these are paid. And this is another one here. It gives me a little indication about fluctuations in their rankings for that particular company. And it gives me my CID, my profile ID. So a lot of these are really important when I'm trying to connect it to Google, put it on the website. Schema is looking for this CID. I'm sorry, the place ID is what it's looking for, especially when I'm connecting a map to the website. So some of these are just a little bit more advanced, but it's got the coordinates, all that good stuff. So coordinates we like to put also on the website. Any information that can connect me to the Google Business Profile, to the website, to the brand, the better. All right, what other questions have you guys asked me here? So some expectations, how fast can I expect to see rankings? Everybody hates this. It depends. I know it depends. Depends on where you are, physical location. What's the population size? If you're in New York, really, really hard. Lots of competition. Seattle, Boston, Miami, lots of competition. Small town, Ohio, Katy was an example. Katy's a small town just south of Houston. There's even smaller towns as you further go south. It's probably pretty easy. Not a lot of competition, not a lot of population. Second thing, how old is your website? Is it brand spanking new? Are you new? Is your company new? If you're brand new, your domain is brand new, it's going to take a while, a year. If you've got a poor reputation, if you've done some really, really sketchy SEO work, you might have just ruined your reputation. What we've had to do is we'll find really bad backlinks that have been spammed, and we have to disavow them. We get an entire laundry list and we disavow. That takes time to come back from that. If you've done a lot of spammy things, you will see it drop, and it'll be very hard to come back. Sometimes it's okay. 30 days later, you start coming back again. I have no control of what Google sees as to whether people like you or not. That's why those reviews they do count for that. So if you've got 3.9, that's not an SEO issue. That's an internal operations. If you have a 3.9 review on your Google Business Profile, you cannot blame your reviews. You got to blame there's something going on with how you are moving and working with your clients. If they're not giving you five stars or 4 stars, that's a lot of 1 and 2 stars to get 3.9. And you got to figure out a way to fix that. And it's a long road to recovery from that. We had a client just like that about 1.5 years ago. They were at 3.9. They're now at 4.8. Took a long time to get there. Was not easy. And there was a lot of internal changes. They had to fire people. They had to put SOPs in place. They had to answer their phones every time. You just got to be careful. So if there's no other questions, I don't really see anything. It looks like you guys are good to go. It's super long. Again, I'm going to throw this on YouTube, so you'll be able to go back and answer anything. But I do want to offer this to you. This is our marketing plan, I've updated it for 2025. I will have a planning session for 2025, so I hope you're able to make it then. And this is the annual workbook. I've got another one here is the lead generation. If you're curious about what your budget needs to be for 2025, you're going to need to know what your average ticket value, how many leads you typically get, how many they convert, all those questions. It's not a lot of numbers, but you're going to need to know your numbers very well, which is something that we help you with. But that's an annual worksheet. Again, updated for 2025. Go ahead, click there. And what I want you to do right now is what are the top 3 things that you're going to do in the next 30 days to get ready for 2025 when it comes to your website and your local SEO? What are those 3 things? So if you can leave that in the chat for me, tell me what some of those are. I would love to see that. Oh, we need a new website. Got it. It's a new website. Great. I can certainly give you some tips on the page structure. So reach out to me and I'll send you what our spreadsheet looks like. Happy to share that. What else you guys got here? Oh, your Google business profile. Absolutely. You need to, yep, you're going to add some services. Great. Work on those reviews. Yeah, perfect. Other areas. PPC is another conversation, paid ads, but if you're going to be doing a little bit of that, happy to help with that as well. Just again, a free conversation, no worries. We've done that for several moving companies, and I do have some ideas. Again, going along with Google Guaranteed, some topics on that. Now, what else do we have? Share. Oh yeah, please start sharing your content. Don't just come up with brand new content on your social media profiles. You've already got a website with a lot of content. Start sharing that. Start making use of the content that you've already created, and just, you don't have to share it one time. Remember, those feeds go by really fast. What you shared yesterday, nobody will ever see again unless they go to your Facebook page, which nobody ever does. It's got to be in their feed. Instagram's the same way. TikTok's the same way, right? So you have to make sure that you do that. Now, if you're interested, I'm happy to have a conversation. I'll kind of look at your online visibility and see where you're at. I can, like I mentioned, sharing your custom keyword lists. I could do a ranking report, all of that stuff that we can do. Just call. It's really better if you schedule. So I shouldn't even put my phone number on there. It's just go ahead and schedule, click that. And that we'll have a 20-minute conversation, see if we're a good fit. But during that time, happy to share what I've already done some research on you. So feel free to go to schedule and yeah, let's talk, please. movingmarketingresults.com, schedule, or it's okay. 832-390-4451 is the phone number. It's okay. It just takes us a little longer to get back, but don't you do that. Moving companies, answer the phone, the first ring. Don't go to voicemail. I'm just not a moving company. A little different for me. You, however, answer the call first, no later than the second ring. Don't let them go to voicemail. Please don't let them do that. All right. Thank you so much for attending. I appreciate everybody that's been here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And hopefully the next time was the automation in November. I don't have a specific date, but I will absolutely share that. And have a great day. Appreciate you. And go out and move and pack everybody safely. Have a great day. Thanks.